Let me find out how many board members is on before we start it, just to make sure. See, do we have Mark?
Mark is here.
Jerry Hayes? Jerry? How about Benny Jones? Benny, are you on?
This is Jerry Hayes.
Oh, good. Hey, Jerry. And looking for Benny Jones. Is Benny on? Okay.
This is Ronnie Tickle. I'm on.
Okay, good. And we know, right? Okay.
Yes.
Keith Whittington and Randy. So the only one I think we're missing is just Benny. He
So
may.
you want to wait and give him a minute or two, or you want to?
Probably join in, and then I can add him to the record once he joins in. To, I think we got a forum without him, and Andy won't be on. So, okay, we'll go ahead and start the meeting then.
I made it, Carolyn. This is Benny.
Yay! Yay! Okay, we got everybody then. Okay, Randy, you can take over.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is the Board for Licensing Contractors meeting for Tuesday, September the 29th, 2020. Do we want to go ahead and do a more formal roll call now, Carolyn, or you think we're good with what we just did?
No, we need to do a formal roll call.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go ahead. Mark Brudd.
Present.
Jerry Hayes.
Here.
Jones. Reese Smith. Reese Smith.
Here.
Okay. Ronnie Tickle.
Here.
Randy Chase.
Here.
Okay. We have a quorum.
Okay. We'll move forward. Anybody else you want to note that's on, Carolyn, or move on to adopting the agenda?
I always forget to do that. Yes, I need to go ahead. I want to introduce our newest board member, Jennifer Ransom. She won't be serving this meeting, but she's going to just go ahead and listen in, and we should have her on board by the November 17th board meeting. So, but anyway, I wanted to let you all know we do have a new commercial board member, and she's out of Memphis. So, Jennifer, if you're on the line, yeah, I believe she's on the line. So it's good to have you. And then we also, we have on staff, we have Elizabeth Bindle, Jesse Gentry, and Kristen Walker, and those are our three attorneys. We also have Catherine Holloman, Rhonda Manuelson, and Regina Oldham. So we can, if we got everybody on, go ahead and go ahead and adopt the agenda.
Okay. Well, first of all, welcome to Jennifer. Maybe one of these days we can all meet in person again. Look forward to meeting you. Welcome to the board.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Looking forward to meeting you all.
Okay, so we need to adopt the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? I guess we got to do a roll call, don't we?
Yes. Okay. Mark Brudd,
Yes.
Jerry Hayes,
Yes.
Benny Jones,
Yes.
Reese Smith,
Yes.
Ronnie Tickle,
Yes.
Keith Whittington,
Yes.
and Randy Chase.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we have the statement of necessity. Carolyn, do we need to read that into the meeting?
Yes, and Elizabeth is going to read that into the record. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Good morning, everyone. The Board for Licensing Contractors is meeting by electronic means to conduct essential business as authorized by the Governor's Executive Order number 16 and extended by Executive Order number 60. Meeting remotely is considered a reasonable measure to protect the safety and welfare of Tennesseans while ensuring government business may continue in a manner that is open and accessible to the public. All votes by the board will be by roll call.
Okay, thank you. Moving on the agenda, meeting minutes. I understand from Carolyn that we're going to need to approve those two and the one we're doing today at the next meeting. Correct, Carolyn?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right, well, let's go ahead and move into license reviews and approvals by the board. We had some hardships that were handled by the director, by Carolyn. Do we have a motion to approve the hardships?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Carolyn, roll
Okay.
call.
Mark Brudd,
Yes.
Jerry Hayes,
Yes.
Benny Jones,
Yes.
Reese Smith,
Yes.
Ronnie Tickle,
Yes.
Keith Whittington,
Yes.
and Randy Chase.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. We've also got a list of waived interviews and approvals that were handled by the board members. We need a motion to approve those.
First, I want to
Okay.
make sure Kathy just sent out a revised list and to include all the ones. I think there was only one that got left off, but make sure everybody received the revised list, and that's the one you'll be voting on. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, we need a motion to approve those waived interviews.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Carolyn?
Mark Brudd,
Yes.
Jerry Hayes,
Yes.
Benny Jones,
Yes.
Reese Smith,
Yes.
Ronnie Tickle,
Yes.
Keith Whittington,
Yes.
and Randy Chase.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. We'll move on to the applications with factors, as we call it now. Sort of take place with the interviews are handled by different members, and I've got that list. And I'll just start at the top. And the first one was Benny Jones with Jupiter Homes. Benny, do you want to share your discussion there?
I'm trying to find my notes. I have a note of each and every one of these that I went over. It's just a matter of reading it. But now, penalty-wise, I was a little bit unsure of where that should be, but I want to be standard, uniform, with the board, what we've done in the past amount-wise. I may be a little bit light there. So I'm definitely open for discussion on it.
Can you tell us the nature of the offense there, Benny?
What are the details? Yeah, they had some projects that was just a little bit over the limit. It wasn't nothing, nothing big, but I was just trying to be sure we had their attention.
Okay, it looks like on the paper it says Jupiter Homes projects over. It says 3,000. I'm thinking that must be. Is that 300,000? Carolyn or Catherine or Kathy?
That's 3,000. That's for home improvement.
Oh, okay. I see. I see over there.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I
All right.
didn't see
All
that.
right. This
I
is
think
Ronnie.
he's
I think you're fine on that on those if it's not much over 3,000.
Yeah, it wasn't no extravagant amount or anything, or I would have reached out to someone. And also the sky restoration, it falls, along the same lines.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So Jupiter Homes was the first one. Home Improvement 9710. Sky Restoration was the second one. Home Improvement 8774. They had a recommended penalty of 200 for Jupiter and 250 for Sky. Is everybody okay with that? I guess.
Yes.
Okay. And we'll approve them all at the end. So if you got anything, we can revise it and then just approve them all. The next one is Sam Anderson Construction. Keith, that was one of yours. You want to tell us about that?
Yes, they were applying for a monetary increase. Their current limit was 400,000. They're asking for an increase to 750. In the application process, they virtually, basically admitted to not paying attention to their limit, and they've built 3 houses they listed on their application that were well over their limit. I don't know if they have more, but these are the 3 they've listed. So I'm proposing a $1,000 penalty for each offense for a total of 3,000.
Okay.
Each of those jobs were nearing 450 to 500,000, which was their limit at 400. They were well over their limit.
Okay. Any questions about that one from anyone? Okay. And then Keith, your next one was Shields and Associates, 59,475.
Yes, they're a company out of Little Rock, Arkansas. They also are asking for an increase in the monetary limit to a $3 million limit from $39,500. Why they had such a small monetary limit, I do not know. Their financials do qualify them. However, they did come in, I think, down around Paris and bid on a project down there that turns out they had to be disqualified for it because they bid well over their limit. So I am proposing a $5,000 penalty for bidding over their limit.
Okay. Any discussions on that one? Okay. The next one was one that I was involved in with Kathy and Carol, and this was a 615 Mechanical, which was file number 75-196. They
Randy,
yes.
their attorney just sent Kathy a message saying they withdraw the request and they're not going to they're not going to appeal the QA not being an employee. So I don't
Okay.
think you have to.
Well, good. That makes that one easy. Okay. The next one is the one we spent some time on last meeting, significant amount of time. Knoxet, file number 74-292. There were some lengthy discussions about the application that they had turned in. for an electrical license. What we did as a board last meeting was we requested that the QA retake the test, both the electrical test and the business and law, come back with some updated references, et cetera. And they have done all of that, which we requested. So at this point, my recommendation, this was one that Andy had originally, and since Andy's not here, I looked over it as well. It appears to me that we need to accept the application and move forward.
Yeah, I've looked at that one as well, and I agree with that we should move forward as long as they've got a recommendation from somebody now that's positive and they passed the test.
Okay. All right. And then the last one is Jonathan Noosh. Carolyn, do you want to discuss that one?
Sure. Received a request from a contractor out of Mississippi, and they're going to be applying for a Tennessee license. The name of their company is American Glass Service, and they install windows. They are asking, they've been in business several years, and the son, who is an attorney, is taking over for his father. So when he was getting ready to apply for a license, there's a backlog on taking the exam with PSI. So they put in a request to see if, since he's a licensed attorney, if the business and law exam could be waived in this instance.
We won't hold it against him that he's an attorney.
Our attorneys will appreciate that. but I mean, they just install Windows, so I think this would be a perfect case to waive the business and law exam.
Everyone okay with that?
Can we waive
Yes.
it temporarily until they take it?
To see, do what?
Can we give them
I
a
agree
certain
with what
time
Mark
to take
said.
it?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
I had said, can we waive it for a period of time until they're able to get it scheduled and take the exam?
Yes, you could do that.
I agree with what Mark's saying. I think that rather than waive it altogether, they need to take it at first most convenient time for them.
Are they
Okay.
licensed in the meantime?
It would be a temporary license.
Okay.
Okay, then that's what I'll tell them, that they can go ahead and move forward with applying with the license, and then once they pass the business and law, they can get a permanent license.
Okay.
How
right,
backed
so-
up is the licensing exam date, Carolyn?
I couldn't understand you.
I was just asking, how backed up are the exam dates?
Oh, Kathy, is it close to 2 months? Do you know?
For a trade exam, it can be 2 months. For the business and law, I mean, I'm having people take it the same week or two, within 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that's all the applications with factors that are on the list.
And this is Mark. I've got one I need to add to it.
Okay.
Okay.
I just got it from Kathy back this morning. It's a Mike Cross, number 75243. He listed 5 experiences. One was a house he built for himself. He admitted to 3 of them being house flips that he never lived in. And the last one was a new house that he built that he doesn't have a license, so I'm assuming he built it without a license. So I think we need to recommend a fine against him before we issue the license. I'm gonna recommend $2,000.
$2,000.
Yes.
Did you get all that, Carolyn?
Yes. And I think that's all of them, so you can go ahead and offer a motion to approve.
Yeah, we need a motion to approve the applications with factors as discussed and as listed and reviewed.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Mark Brudd,
Aye.
Jerry Hayes,
Yes.
Yes.
Reese Smith,
Yes.
Ronnie Tickle,
Yes.
Keith Whittington,
Yes.
and Randy Chase.
Yes.
And I believe next list we need to discuss is the LLE.
Do we need to hit the revisions first, or do we already do the revisions?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm not looking at the agenda, so sorry.
That's okay. We just need a motion to approve the revisions that were on the email that Kathy sent us this morning.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Mark Brudd,
Yes.
Yes.
Benny Jones,
Yes.
Yes.
Ronnie Tickle,
Yes.
Keith Whittington,
Yes.
and Randy Chase.
Yes. Okay. Now we'll move on to the LLEs. There was a list on your email as well. There, Andy reviewed some of those LLEs, and I reviewed the others. We had 6 that we approved waivers of the exam, and then there were 2 that Andy recommended that they needed to retake the test. And those were file number 56104 and 55631. So those 2 individuals will have to retake the electrical exam to get their LLE squared away. Do we want to approve those first, Carolyn, or do all 3 of these together?
Do all 3.
Okay. The LLPs, we had a handful of those. We had 5 of those looking for a waiver of the exam. They had let their license expire, having not received anything in the mail or whatever. So I approved all 5 of those. And then I think we had some home improvement. I'm not sure how many of the home improvements we had. How many do we have there? Well, we had a bunch of home improvement licenses, and we just need those are all have been approved by board members or whatever. So we should be good there on that list that you got in the email. So that's the LLEs, the LLPs, and the home improvements. We just need a motion to approve those 3.
This is Mark. I move for approval.
A second.
Okay. Mark Brudd,
Yes.
Jerry Hayes,
Yes.
Benny,
Yes.
Reese Smith,
Yes.
Ronnie Tickle,
Yes.
Keith Whittington,
Yes.
and Randy Chase.
Yes. Okay. Carolyn, do you want to talk about the pre-licensed exam course provider?
Yes. It's been a while since we've had a pre-licensed exam course provider. A school And right now, we currently have two that are licensed. So this is, I believe it goes by Rocket Cert LLC, and Tom Dorsey Jr. and Senior, I believe, are on the call and can answer some questions if you have any. But I do know they are very experienced, and I sent you all their resumes and the outline of the exam, and they have their bond, their $50,000 bond, and they're going to be offering these courses online, and hopefully if they get approved, they can start in December. But I believe Mr. Dorsey, Senior, and possibly Junior have, they've had a pre-license, or at least worked with a pre-license course. The license number 1 was first issued to that company. And so I guess we can go from there. I believe the Dorseys are on the call, and if anyone has any questions, they can go ahead and ask them.
Any questions?
Will they be doing all trades?
Mr. Dorsey, are you on the call still?
Hi, this is Tom Dorsey Jr. The initial plan is for us to offer the primary 8 general contractor classifications, as well as electrical and LLE exam prep online, along with the business and law. We will be developing our mechanical for the HVAC, plumbing, and full mechanical contractor courses later. We anticipate applying for approval of those courses and for the January board meeting.
Got any other questions?
Are those courses online or are they taught in person?
The courses will be available primarily in an online format. We would also like to seek approval for live seminar or webinar combinations of courses, but our target market is primarily online. Depending on the opportunity, we would like the approval just in case we have an option to present a live seminar, though.
And what is the name of the company again?
The name of the company is Rocket Cert LLC. Tom Senior, who's also on the call, previously, along with myself, owned and operated National Contractors, which then we switched to the At Home Prep brand name. We sold that company back in 2014, I believe, and I stayed on and operated the At Home Prep division for several years afterwards.
Okay.
This is Ronnie. Where are y'all located?
We're in Knoxville, sir.
Where are you located?
Knoxville.
Knoxville, okay.
Well, we only have 2 other providers at this point, Carolyn.
Yes, we only have 2 right now.
Who is that?
Contractors, and the other one is the At Home Prep.
What about Chattanooga State and Pellissippi State?
Those are the limited residential schools. The one that offer just the BCA or the restricted residential license. But they're different.
Okay.
And we just have one company that administers the exam.
Yes, and that's PSI, and they have to bid on that contract every 5 years.
So this instruction is optional for the applicants, right?
Yes, this isn't required. Is that what you asked, if it was optional?
Yes.
Yes, this is just a prep course for those needing help taking exams.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Okay.
So do we need a vote for approving this provider, Carolyn?
Yes, please.
Okay, we need a motion, I guess,
I'll
to,
move for approval.
okay.
Second.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion in a second. Carolyn?
Mark Brudd,
Yes.
Jerry Hayes,
Yes.
Benny Jones,
Yes.
Reese Smith,
Yes.
Ronnie Tickle,
Yes.
Keith Winnington,
Yes.
and Randy Chase.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Dorsey's, you've been approved, so we'll be getting your license.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now we need to move on to the move on to the legal report. We want to start with Jesse.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to pull it up real fast. I think I heard from a number of the board members about some changes. So if you had any changes, if anyone had any changes at any point that we did not receive, just go ahead and let me know. The first one we have, though, that involved a change was number 54 on the report. It's complaint number 200059371. The recommendation was to either do a letter of warning or a $500 civil penalty. The board's decision was to up that civil penalty to authorize the assessment of a $1,000 civil penalty. The next one we have on the report is number 63. That involves a change. Pulling that one up now. That's complaint number 2020073. The original recommendation was to authorize formal charges to be settled through the voluntary revocation of respondent's LLE and contractor's license for the violation of the terms of his license. And I believe the decision was to do that, but also to flag the licenses. So that was the only change on that one. Number 64, this is Kristen Walker's case, but it is 20190909111. I believe the original recommendation for this one was to do a 6-month suspension for gross negligence or authorize the assessment of a $1,000 civil penalty by consent order for gross negligence. Kristen Walker, did you have a change for that one?
So there wasn't a change that I saw. It was just some questions, I guess. So one question was about criminal charges. I don't think for this one we need to go forward with assessing criminal charges just because the nature of it is gross negligence. But I do think that we should move forward with the 6-month suspension only because this respondent is already in bankruptcy. So I don't think a civil penalty would be sufficient with respect to what has happened with this complaint. So I think the 6-month suspension would be the best route to go on that one. And if there are questions, just let me know and I'm happy to answer them.
This is Ronnie. That was one of mine. I was just concerned about this guy keep billing and he filed bankruptcy. I think we're just not doing the public right if you can keep billing and you're in bankruptcy. So I agree with what our attorney's saying.
So at the end of 6 months, he gets his license back?
Another option is you could do the 6-month suspension or you can go for revocation. It's up to you guys. I was thinking the 6-month suspension would be appropriate because, well, let me go back. Because of the history of this complainant, I don't see where they've had any other discipline. The last complaint they had, it was closed. So I was thinking the 6-month suspension might be a good start, considering this person has committed gross negligence And in addition, yes, the gross negligence was the main issue here. And because they don't have like a prior record, I think the 6-month suspension is probably a good start.
Well, if he's in bankruptcy, I would think that we would want his license revoked and he can reapply if he somehow gets out of bankruptcy.
That's definitely doable as well.
This is Ronnie. I agree with Mark. I mean, that was like I said. I agree with Mark 100%. I'm just not comfortable with this guy building, and he had a classification of $1 million. I mean, build up to $1 million, and he's done what he's done. I know that's done all the time, but we need to try to stop some of that.
So it sounds like the board's decision then is to do license revocation. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'll make the motion that we proceed with the revocation of the license.
I'll second it. This is Benny.
Okay. So we'll make that change then. Thank you. The next one on the report that had changed was number 78, which is 20200299701. The recommendation is to refer to the local district attorney. And I believe the decision only changes to make sure that that's referred to the district attorney for a theft charge as well, to recommend for theft charges. So that should be the only change on that one. Next we have is number 86 on the legal report. This is 20200537791. The original recommendation was to authorize the assessment of a $4,000 civil penalty by consent order and formal charges for unlicensed activity or unlicensed activity in violation of 626103. The decision is to authorize that $4,000 civil penalty with also giving clear instructions and a stern warning based on the respondent's prior history of unlicensed activity as well. The next one then would be number 89, which is 20200553331. The original recommendation was to close. The board's decision is to do a letter of warning. Then we have number 90, 20200613031. The recommendation was to authorize the assessment of a $500 civil penalty by consent order and formal charges for a violation of unlicensed home improvement contractor work, and the decision is to increase that to a $1,000 civil penalty by consent order and formal charges for the same activity, unlicensed activity. Next, we have number 96 on the legal report. And that's 202004431. Recommendation is to refer to the local district attorney. And I believe that
I'm sorry, Jesse, I'm sorry. I think originally it was assess the civil penalty or refer to the district attorney, and it was voted, the decision was to refer to local DA.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we'll just do referring that to the district attorney then. Next we have is 103. Let's see, and that is case number 20190811521. The new recommendation new recommendation and decision on that one are both to refer to the district attorney. 104 then, which is 2019043 both the recommendation and the decision on that one now are to close and flag. So that was the only changes that I've received. Were there any other cases that any board members had reviewed, any questions about, or wanted to change recommendations on?
Anybody got anything else? All right.
See, there was one I just wanted to ask. I'm not sure who reviewed it because I know Andy normally reviews these cases. Number 112. I'm not sure I'm sorry, I know Andy normally reviews these, but Randy, I think you may have reviewed it today. This was 2020051 511. The recommendation was to do a $30,000 civil penalty. Were you fine with that? Or whoever reviewed that one?
I did not look at that one, I don't think.
Okay.
Mark, did you look at that one?
I did not.
What was the offense? That's a pretty hefty
It's
fine.
$50,000.
Yeah.
It's an LLE case, limited license electrician case. So I know Andy normally is the one who reviews those, but based on the severity of it, I just wanted to make sure that either we had discussed it or made sure it was reviewed appropriately. The allegation, though, is, and there's a similar companion case on there involving another party to this, but this specific case involved an LLE contractor. He was pulling permits using a general contractor's license information. And he pulled approximately 98 permits under this other contractor's license without permission to do so. There was no allegations of issues with the workmanship of his work. It appeared that the concern was that he was using this other contractor's information potentially because he had a family member who was the electrical inspector for the area, and that he would be able to inspect that work then, and there's no paper trail showing, that he's inspecting his family member's work. We did have one, so we sent this out for an investigation. I was very involved with it, and we did find one instance where he went over the $25,000 threshold, which would be a violation of unlicensed contracting because he can't do that with an LLE license. But most of the issues, the 98 issues, are that he was just going out and using this contractor's license. And when we followed up with this contractor, he had no idea that this was happening until he was called by a local inspector who said that, your work passed on this project that he had no involvement in. So this LLE license, he never had, or licensee, he never had permission. He was never an employee, never a subcontractor of this general contractor. He just appeared to be doing it to get around some of those inspection issues.
I don't think it's excessive if he did that intentionally 98 times.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And I will add that based on the LLE violations have a maximum of $1,000 per violation. The unlicensed contract has a maximum of $5,000 per violation. So if you look at that with 98 LLE violations and one unlicensed contracting violation, potentially if you wanted to go with the maximum, that could be $103,000 civil penalty, or license revocation or suspension if the board thought that was appropriate.
Okay.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, who arrived at the 30,000? Was that you, Jesse?
I believe so. Yes, I talked to some of the other legal counsel in our office, and we felt like that was a pretty hefty amount, but it could obviously go higher. You could also look at other penalties as well, but that would be at least an amount that it seems like that would discourage him from doing it in the future.
Yeah.
Jesse, do you feel
What's
like
his
this
monetary
will?
limit?
Since it's an LLE license, his limit is $25,000. And most of these projects, when we followed back up, most of them were under $25,000. So the issue, he's not pulling a permit so that way he can get over his limit. He's pulling these permits, what it appears is for the sole purpose of being able to have no paper trail of having a family member inspect his work.
Okay.
I would add though, we had a pretty substantial investigation on this one. Those 98 permits were over the course of about a year and a half, almost 2 years. Since then, he has stopped pulling permits with the general contractor's information. His family member is no longer an inspector in the area. I will add that, but he is using only his LLE license to pull these permits at this point.
Okay.
Do you feel the $30,000 fine will be sufficient enough to deter him from that in the future?
I think potentially. We also have this family member who was the inspector also had a contractor's license that was presented on this report. I can't remember the actual complaint number, but we had recommended revocation of his license for engaging in dishonorable or fraudulent activity involving his work as an inspector, since his inspector license was also revoked. So I think 30,000 would be enough that he would, if he pays it, he'll probably do it under a payment plan. He's definitely working enough that he could afford that, but I do think that would have enough of a sting to show him that he shouldn't do this again.
And you feel like that's better than revocation?
Well, I think that's if the board wants to revoke it, I think there's certainly grounds for that. I think we could. I do think there's grounds to revoke. I do.
Any thoughts?
I'm not opposed to it.
I'm not opposed to either way of doing it. I'm just not sure that we'll ever see a penny of the 30,000.
Yeah, that eats up a lot of profit from an LLE contractor.
Mm-hmm. So I think if we did the 30,000, it's likely he would put it on a payment plan, and we'd put language in that order, that consent order, that if he doesn't make his timely payments, his license would be suspended until he pays it. So that's usually the motivation that we get for respondents to make sure they're making payments. I don't think his license expires for a little while. Let me look. He expires in 2021. So I think, if he doesn't want to agree to pay this, we'll just set it for a formal hearing at that point.
I think you need to put in the language of if we go the $30,000 fine, I think you need to put it in the language that if that's not paid, we proceed immediately into revocation, not suspension.
Okay. I will add that.
Okay. Anything else, Jesse or Kristen?
No, I do not have anything else. Thank you.
Jesse, do you usually ask them what they feel like they can pay, or how do you set the payment schedule up?
Normally, if it can be paid with in under a year, I just we set it up monthly. If it goes over a year, I talked to Carolyn Lazenby about it, and she grants permission if it needs to go over a year. Normally, we don't have over 12 months. Normally, they pay things in a plan that's about 12 months. But with these licensed contractors, we try to make sure that we put language in there that if you don't pay, if you stop paying, that you're subject to license revocation and suspension until that's paid off. So we're doing a better job of making sure that that's in there at this time, because we don't want people signing consent orders and not paying anything. But normally it's about a year. I did not ask him if this is what you're asking. I didn't ask him before I made this recommendation. I just thought $30,000 is about a third of the maximum. And since he has an LLE license, it's not like he has a $1 million limit or $2 million limit. Most of these projects are about $15,000 projects he's working on. So I did think that 30,000 was pretty fair based on the work that he's doing.
Okay. It'd be nice if we could get him paid up by the time he renews his license.
I agree. And I'll look at the month when that expires as well, just to be able to talk to him. If he's able to pay it all off immediately, or faster than that, that would be great. If not, maybe something where you're holding that license until or that renewal until it's paid or at least on track to be paid off.
All right. Anything else on the legal report?
I don't have anything else.
I don't either. Thank you.
Okay, so I guess we need to approve the legal report as presented. Can we get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Carolyn.
Mark Brudd,
Yes.
Jerry Hayes,
Yes.
Reading Jones,
Yes.
Yes.
Ronnie Tickle,
Yes.
Keith Whittington,
Yes.
and Randy Chase.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Carolyn, do you want to discuss the last couple of items, the West Virginia reciprocal?
Yes. Yes. State of West Virginia has asked we would be interested in entering into a trade exam waiver agreement, and I checked their exams compared to ours, and it looks like we have 8 that would be comparable to their classifications. And I sent that, I believe I sent that to you all last night, that spreadsheet. And there's, they do use Prov as their testing vendor, but Prov is an excellent vendor as well as PSI. Henry Sorensen owns Prov, or at least he has for some time. Their exam. He used to administer ours when I first come with the board. And so I think it would be their exams should be just as good as PSI's. Some of their codes are a little different, and but they have 3 hours to take their test, where some of ours allows 5 hours. So we may have more questions, but they have less testing time. But they do have reciprocal agreements right now with just Ohio and Alabama HVAC board. So I was going to ask you all if y'all would be willing to reciprocate our trade exams like we have with other states.
This is Ronnie. I say yes.
This is Mark. I say yes.
Okay, great.
Hey, do we need to vote on that, Carolyn?
Yes.
Okay, so I need a motion. I guess it sounds like we kind of had 2 motions there, but maybe do it formally.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Okay. Mark Brudd,
Yes.
Jerry Hayes,
Yes.
Benny Jones,
Yes.
Reese Smith,
Yes.
Ronnie Tickle,
Yes.
Keith Whittington,
Yes.
and Randy Chase.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
All right. Carolyn, budget. You want to talk about the budget?
Yes. I don't know what they said was a final report, and we come in with just a balance of around 11,000, which is a lot less than I thought we would. We had a lot of cost backs, but I'm wanting to dig a little deeper to make sure we didn't get double billed on our inspector hours since we paid their salaries. So I'm hoping that we'll find something there. Otherwise, we won't be able to give much to go build. So hopefully I'll get a better report, and I'll be emailing that to you all as soon as I find out more. And as far as legislation, of course, I don't have anything. And formal hearings, I believe we had 2 since the last meeting, and we had more scheduled and they were continued. But went well, and I think the judge did maximum penalty on the last one. And Jesse, I believe we're still waiting for the judge's decision on the one we have Friday. But that's where we're at right now.
That's correct. I haven't heard back from that judge yet, but I think that went very smoothly. I'm still a little confused why we couldn't settle that one. I thought it was very clear unlicensed activity, but the respondent showed up and admitted to everything that we alleged. So I'm sure that we'll get an order pretty quickly.
Okay. Any questions about the budget or hearings? If not,
Carolyn, on the budget, we used to clear a pretty good, enormous sum of money. What's going on there?
I don't know. I think it's their. I promise I haven't bought anything. I haven't even bought office supplies. So, but yeah, well, I'm digging. I know they started a different way of billing and everything. I guess lots of IT updates, things like that. But I'm like you. I was pretty shocked when I saw the difference on our balance because I thought we were doing really well. And then the year end, they come back. Well, this is how much they took, but I'll dig more into it.
It looks to me like our activity is up enormously as far as taking in new licenses and increasing revisions, and we should be easily taking care of everything we do.
Yes. Yeah, our revenue was actually up, so that was one reason why I was shocked that it cost so much more expenditures this year. But I can send you all the reports, but I'll let you know that we're still digging.
Well, it looks to me like it ought to be a whole lot less. We're meeting on the telephone. We're not coming up there and getting any rooms or getting any our $50. That's ought to save a bunch of money. And all these people that we brought in, we have about 200 and some odd people. I bet this time that's applying.
Right,
that's a lot. And we got and it looks like everybody in this one little city, Saudi, Daisy, Tennessee. I guess everybody decided they wanted to become a builder or something. I've never seen so many. I didn't even know where that place was, but it's up there by y'all somewhere.
Carolyn, maybe you can study
they had a tornado there, didn't they?
What's that?
I think Saudi Daisy had a tornado blow through a few months ago.
Oh, I'm sorry for them, but that's why everybody went to work trying to do something.
Okay. Yeah, that explains it. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Carolyn, maybe you can research the budget a little bit and update us at the next meeting to kind of let us know what they changed and the cost backs or whatever that they're adding into you.
Yes, I'll definitely do that.
Any other new business, Carolyn?
I've got one question. Is there any word on when we're going to start meeting in person again?
I lost all my sound on my audio. I'm sorry. Did you ask a question?
I did. Any word on when we will be meeting in person again?
Haven't received any word so far. Usually the governor comes out with a new executive order at the end of the month, and so I haven't heard if anything has been extended My guess it would probably be until at least January. But I haven't. That's just a guess. I haven't heard anything.
Any other new business, Carolyn?
Jesse, do you need to talk about the summary suspension? Or Liz, you're on mute.
Jesse, you're on mute.
Liz, you're still on mute. It's.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Jesse had to step out for a moment. So it's still scheduled for 2:30 this afternoon. And the parties, I believe that's why he had to step out, is that he was talking to the attorney for
Okay.
Mr. Benton.
Okay. So right now, legal is asking for the board to meet at 2:30 today. I had sent out an earlier notice for 2, but we need to push it back to 2:30 if that works for everybody. I think I have a couple that can't make it at 2:30, but I should still have a quorum. I believe that's it. Or do we need to wait for Jesse?
Do they have representation? Are they going to appear at 2:30?
I believe that's what Jesse is discussing right now. Is the attorney had called and he was calling to discuss whether or not they would be appearing this afternoon.
Will there be a WebEx calling number for that, Carolyn?
Yes, I'm going to send that invite to you all right after this meeting. I was afraid if I sent it before, y'all might click on the wrong one. So, but I'll be sending it next right after this.
Okay.
All right. So, anything else?
I think that's it.
Do we need to wait on Jesse, or you'll just shoot us an invite?
Yes, I'll just send you an invite if anything changes, but I'll go ahead and send the invite.
All right.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Mark Brudd,
Yes.
Jerry Hayes,
Yes.
Benny Jones,
Yes.
Reese Smith,
Yes.
Ronnie Tickle,
Yes.
Keith Whittington,
Yes.
Randy Chase.
Yes.
Okay, so we're adjourned now, and we'll meet again today at 2:30 Central Time. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
You appreciate it.